Hey y'all, welcome back to Bourbon on the Brain, and today we're going to be trying a new bourbon that I got my hands on, and my dad and I are going to be discussing it. So with that being said, I'll let him pull the cover off and we'll show you what we got today.
Ta-da!
So we got the bottle of 1924, courtesy of Total Wine. I got it for $1.39. So pretty good deal. Got to redeem some Total Wine points. Got it at a little bit of a deal. But it's a really interesting bottle, and I'm a fan of Old Forester. My dad and I love the 1910. It's one of our favorite bottles. And I've been trying to get my hands on all of the Whisky Row series, working my way through them. And since they came out with a new one, wanted to add it to the collection. So we're gonna go ahead and try it out and talk about it.
Good. Open it up.
They went with the purple for this bottle, which is always interesting. If you know the Whisky Row series, then you know that each bottle has a different color. The 1910 is blue, I think it's the 1897 is green. So, I'll try it. So he's going to go ahead and give it a little bit of nose. If you follow my channel, you know I like to read what the distillery has to say about the tasting notes. So the aroma, according to Old Forester's website, is soft notes of fudge, cocoa, marzipan, and cured tobacco, layered over hints of rich oak and warm cinnamon, with a taste of chocolate-covered graham crackers dusted with cinnamon, and then a finish of hints of spice and graham cracker crumbles. So a little bit about the bottle. The Whisky Row series is 1924 10-year. It is a limited annual release celebrating another milestone in Old Forester's storied history. During Prohibition, more than 200 distilleries are forced to close. Old Forester, however, continued operations because the federal government issued one of 6 medicinal licenses, a P3. In 1924, Old Forester acquired barrels from closed distillers with different mash bills and bottled that liquid as Old Forester. This release commemorates that moment in time.
Can we taste it yet?
All right, let's give it a try.
All right, so I know you just read all those tasting notes, and as you're well aware, I think all that stuff is made up most of the time. This actually has a very nice nose. It's definitely a little bit sweet. You do definitely get the caramel, you definitely do get that cinnamon. And actually, weirdly enough, you do sort of get the graham cracker.
It kind of tastes like s'mores. It's kind of got all of the, not like s'mores specifically, but it's got all of the like framework of what s'mores should taste like.
It's actually very good. You get, even though it's only 100 proof, you get a lot of that real whiskey feel right up front, which is pretty unusual for something that's only 100 proof.
Yeah, it's nice and smooth too. It burns, but it's smooth.
I agree. I like what it does. It kind of gets up in your sinuses a little bit. It's very pleasant. You definitely know you're drinking a whiskey, and you definitely know you're drinking a bourbon. There's no question. You get plenty of the caramel. You definitely get some of the oak, but it does have some other nuanced flavors.
Yeah, it's surprisingly good. Not surprisingly, I mean, Old Forester's mash bills, some of them they release and some of them they don't. So you don't always know exactly what they're drinking. Like this mash bill is not on the bottle, it's not on their website. But in general, their quality of product is always very good. I'm not a massive fan of the 1897, but pretty much everything else that they've released is really quite exceptional for the price that you pay for them.
You know, the second sip, you definitely do get some of that wouldn't say it's dark chocolate. I almost think it's sort of semi-sweet cocoa or something along those lines, which I actually think they mentioned in the tasting notes. But I didn't get it originally, but I sort of am getting it on the second sip.
See if adding a drop of water brings out whatever that is.
Well, I know we should do that, but is it a bad thing to say that actually just neat with no water, I really enjoy this, and I hate to put a drop of water in it?
I mean, I think that speaks to the quality of the bourbon, honestly. I mean...
But let's go for it.
Oh, wow. That totally changes it. It's like a wildflower.
It even changes the nose. You still get the caramel, but
It's like vanilla.
there's a certain sweetness there that wasn't there before.
Yeah, it's like, what are those white wildflowers that you smell when you're out in like those fields? And like a vanilla extract.
Not forward though,
No.
just a little bit underneath.
But it
There
takes
is something else there. Is that elderberry? No.
it takes the taste of the proof down substantially though.
Yeah, it almost completely takes away the
burn.
the whiskey.
Yeah. And I put 1 drop of water in mine. What did you put in yours?
Just one. I would say this, for somebody that enjoys the tastes of bourbon, but is not really a whiskey drinker, doesn't really like all the burn and a bit of the gasoline, my guess is 1 rock in here would make this very, very approachable and very tasty for somebody who doesn't necessarily like whiskey but likes these tastes.
Here's one of the things that I think about, like when I'm going through and tasting something just on my own. I think, well, who would I recommend this to? And your recommendation is a good one, but I think another recommendation that I would have is that if you're a restaurant that wants a high-end bourbon that doesn't necessarily want to pay high-end prices, wants it to taste high-end, but also is an easy drinker for people that aren't really ready to dive into the deep end for high-priced bourbon, this is a really good option to have on your shelf as a top shelf.
Yeah, actually I agree. I mean, their bottles are handsome, their labels are handsome.
It's a recognizable name.
It's a recognizable name, and it looks quality. If you don't know what it is, you don't know anything about bourbon, and you just see this up on the shelf, I think that would be attractive to you. And if the price point on this on the menu was a little higher than some of the other things, to me, if you not to pick on somebody, but just because a lot of bars have it these days, and they sort of sell it as medium higher end, which is Angel's Envy. If you put this next to the Angel's Envy bottle, which is a handsome bottle and a very differentiated bottle, but to me, this looks old school quality. And I think on a shelf next to some other things, I think it would stand out.
Yeah, because it kind of reminds you of an artistic rendition of an old copper still. You know, you can kind of see the profile in there. Whereas, and I like Angel Envy's bottle. I think it's one of the better looking bottles out there, and I would agree with that statement. I think they're just two very different tastes, and I think this says top shelf on taste, whereas Angel's Envy doesn't necessarily say top shelf. It says good quality entry level.
Yeah, I will say this, and you know this. Rarely do I drink a bourbon that I like both when it's been watered a little bit and when it's just neat. While this taste is different, it is definitely recognizable as the same bourbon, and it tastes, I liked it neat, obviously. I liked it with 1 drop, and I put another drop in, and I like it with 2 drops. It's versatile, I guess, would be the word.
Yeah, no, I agree. And one of the things I want to try with this is, and I'll be making a video of this sometime shortly and adding it to my website. I want to try making a Boulevardier with this because I think it would mix really well. And if you've been paying attention, you've seen my video go up that shows me making a Boulevardier with the I.W. Harper, and that was phenomenal. In fact, I even put it up on my website, and he made one for himself and absolutely loved it. And I want to try using this because I think it would mix really well, and the taste will really line up with some of the mix-ins with the Boulevardier.
Huh. Not like you. Normally, the whiskey that stands completely on its own that you really enjoy that tastes like bourbon, you don't want to mess it up by mixing it with things. But since I'm the Boulevardier drinker typically, I think that with the right citrus and the right amount of toasting to get that essence, and I think I would be inclined to up the bourbon in that Boulevardier a little bit and drop down on the Campari a little bit and leave the bitters where they normally are.
I think I would, if I were to use something specific, I think I would try using a blood orange peel for this. I think that might bring out a little bit of a different profile instead of just a regular navel orange.
It could, because whatever that very, very slight floral note is, the citrus might bring it up.
So, as I mentioned in the beginning, and if you follow the channel, you know this, we hold the 1910 in very high regards. Such high regards that to date, we've gone through about 4 bottles of it, and never once has been part of a mixed drink. In fact, no Old Forester that we have has been part of a mixed drink. I do want to try mixing this, not because I don't hold it in the same regard, but because I think this will mix really well. And because of what I think of it and the quality that I think it is, I think it will mix really well. So stay tuned for that, more to come. But I'm excited. I was not going into this with high expectations, not because I don't think highly, but more just to temper myself because I did have high expectations when this was first announced. And I think speaking for myself, it exceeded my expectations.
I had no expectations. Typically what happens, as you well know, is that 1910 sort of falls middle of the road most sites, and even when we were at Old Forester and we were talking with them, they continued to try to say, well, what about this, and what about this, and what about this? So clearly our tastes in this particular case are different from a lot of people's tastes, but in fact, I think we had 1910 last night.
Yeah, we did actually.
But this is really very, very good, and I wouldn't be the least bit concerned about serving this to the most sophisticated bourbon drinker. I think it would hold up.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. As he finishes off his last sip, I think that says all that we can say about this. We both wholeheartedly recommend it. The price point's a little bit higher than their normal Whisky Row series, but I think it stands on its own. I don't love the price, but I'm more than willing to spend the money on this bottle because I think it's worth it. I just wouldn't go much higher than this if you're looking aftermarket. But with all that being said, definitely give it a try. Call your local Total Wine because they have it at MSRP, and give it a try. Let me know what you think. So, as always, enjoy, drink safely, and we'll catch you next time. Bye for now.
Bye-bye.